They're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So as you all know, Kari Lake, sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied. Kari Lake lost her Senate race against Democrat Ruben Gallego. She also suffered another loss last week that you may not have caught, though. She lost her final appeal in her court case regarding her other loss in 2022. This woman just keeps losing. As I've shared with you, she has been fighting since 2022 to overturn the election results from that run for governor. So it was her run for governor in the state of Arizona. Well, the state Supreme Court, they just put the final nail in her gubernatorial coffin, so to speak. She had filed a petition with them back in July, and she claimed that she had, quote unquote, new evidence. And this new evidence was supposedly that Maricopa County failed to conduct what's known as logic and accuracy testing on its voting tabulators. And Lake's attorney asked the court for two different things. So they said, well, how about this? You just completely nullify the 2022 election. I'm not joking. I'm laughing, but I'm not joking. They asked the court to toss out approximately 275,000 votes that were cast in Maricopa County in that election and to order a new election. Alternatively, they're like, okay, if you won't do that, then how about if you just throw out those 275,000 votes and install Lake as governor? So either run a new election and we'll see how things go, or you just install her. Just give her the job. Just participation trophy. No biggie, right? Just ignore the will of the voters completely. Well, Maricopa County's attorneys responded to this petition, this ridiculous petition, with actual facts, and they pretty much undermine her allegations, or not pretty much, they do undermine her allegation. So the county told the court, quote, "This assertion is certifiably false, and literally so because the record contains certificates signed by representatives of the Secretary of State and Republican and Democrat observers stating that Maricopa County properly carried out logic and accuracy testing. Even if it were true, Lake never attempts to explain how these representations prevented her from presenting any evidence in support of her claims at the very first trial." So yeah, they just completely took away that argument, said this is bogus, there's factual evidence. Again, she is a Republican. They had Republicans there. They had literally Republicans watching as this was going down, and observers is what they're called, and they saw them perform these logic and accuracy tests. So I don't know where she comes up with this stuff or where her attorneys come up with this stuff, but it is completely BS. So the Arizona Supreme Court responded to her with one simple word: denied. So I guess now, Lake can move on to 2 more years of litigation over her Senate loss. Woo, what fun we're going to have. I also have an update to share with you about the defamation lawsuit that was filed by Maricopa County Recorder Stephen Richer. So you guys will recall Lake spread all of these more unfounded allegations against Richer, that he had somehow rigged that 2022 election against her. Her lies, as you all know, resulted in death threats against him and his family, so he sued Lake for defamation. She fought the suit for quite a while, but eventually she decided, I'm just going to give up. I'm going to take a default judgment. And, she basically had to admit that, yeah, I lied, because she knew she had absolutely no proof that she could show in court. So where it's at now is a jury has to decide how much she actually owes him. To do that, they have to have documents, they have to have evidence. So the court has been asking her, and Richard's team has been asking her to provide documentation, to provide all of her communications, because they have to determine, was this really egregious? Like, did she flat out know that, was this done with malice? That's one of the big things in defamation cases. Was this done knowing that she was making false statements, knowing that she was lying? Well, in August, the judge ordered her to just basically cut it out, turn everything over. He referred to her arguments, you might remember, because I reported on this back then. He referred to her arguments as unwarranted objections, because her attorneys back then were saying, oh, we can't possibly turn all this stuff over. It's so voluminous. There's just so much, blah, blah, blah. It's onerous. It's this, it's that. They're just asking for everything in the kitchen sink. Well, now they're changing their argument, and now they're saying, oh, actually, all of those documents, all those emails, all other forms of communication, yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. That disappeared. According to Lake's attorney, all of that information was destroyed after her gubernatorial campaign ended. That argument, like all of her other arguments, is BS. It doesn't add up, because Lake used the same exact email address and the same domain name for her governor's race and her Senate campaign. So, what happened there? And it's shown through campaign finance reports, she didn't switch providers. She was using GoDaddy on both of those campaigns. So how did that stuff just vanish? Also, campaign finance reports show that Lake's campaign was continuing to raise money after the midterm election in 2022. So she didn't shut that campaign down. The campaign also continued to spend money through December of 2023, which was months after, long after Richard filed his lawsuit. And, when you file a lawsuit against someone, they are put on notice when that lawsuit is served that you are to preserve any and all documents related to this lawsuit. So she was put on notice. So if she got rid of this stuff, it is in violation of, what the courts would deem, I guess, sufficient as, notification to her, or, in violation of just standards and norms. And she didn't officially shut down her gubernatorial campaign and all of these accounts until January of 2024. So she's full of it. And again, why is it, just a few months ago, their argument was, oh, there's just too much. They're just asking for too much stuff. You're telling me that a few months ago, you didn't know that all of those emails, all of this other stuff no longer existed, that it was destroyed? But now, when your feet are to the fire, now it's, oh, whoops, it's gone. Yeah. So let's hope that the judge is going to slap her with some monetary sanctions, and, that maybe he instructs the jury to make an adverse inference from all of this and from her refusal to turn everything over. And what that would mean is it means the jury can hold this against her. The jury can assume that Lake purposely is withholding this evidence because it contains damning information and it would harm her case. And so that's why she's not turning it over. If that's the case, then that would bode, I don't know which would be worse, right? I mean, if she turns it over, depending on what's in there, could be worse, and the jury may hit her with an even bigger number. But not turning it over, getting an adverse inference from that, they're going to hit her with more anyway. They're going to make her pay more. So either way, it'll be fun. All right. I'll let you all know when I hear more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.